Yo, 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 what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Tripping with Theo Bold. I'm your host, Andre Theo Bold, and welcome to the show. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so make sure you follow me. Boom, we in here. I'm just gonna trust that my audio is doing what it's doing. If it sounds like some trash, man, let me know in the chat, and then I'll go back and fix it, man. But we gotta keep it pushing, man. So spoiler alert. Today I'm gonna be talking about the Odyssey, the Christopher Nolan. So the Odyssey came out, what, 2 weeks ago? I think it came out about 2 weeks ago, right? So y'all should have had enough time to go see it. Also, the movie's like the book is like 3,000 years old, right? Or the story, or the poem, right? Because really it's an epic poem. It's not a whatever. But yeah, you had 3,000 years to read it, or you have since you were born to read it. So anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about it. If you haven't seen the movie and if you want to go see it, tap back in after you watched it. Or if you don't care, just watch it and, do what you want to do. You can do whatever you want in life because it's your life. You can do what you want. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. Here we go. So the Odyssey, man. So there's the Iliad and then there's the Odyssey, right? I think both were written by Homer. I could be wrong. But we're talking about the Odyssey, right? And man, here's the thing, right? After watching the Odyssey, man, I found out how bad my reading comprehension skills were, man. Because my reading comprehension skills were terrible, nigga. Like, the only thing I got from the Odyssey when I read that book, or when I read it in high school, was the Trojan Horse joint, and maybe Cyclops. That was it, All the other stuff, man. And matter of fact, I didn't even know Odysseus was part of all that shit. Like, I didn't realize he was even a part of all that. I thought it was, I thought he was just one character in one little segment. But nah, it's about him, man, at this rate, man, Christopher Nolan needs to go ahead and just make movies on all the required high school literature that we were supposed to have read and know or known about, like he needs to go ahead and do Gulliver's Travels, because all I remember about Gulliver's Travels, man, is Little Indian, Big Indian. That's all I remember from that shit. And the Lilliputians. So now he needs to now Christopher Nolan needs to go back and just redo all of high school literature stuff, man, because I didn't get any of that shit from the Odyssey, like back when I read it, yeah, like I remember just the funny Greek names and shit, like, because it's weird, because I remember like the names, like I remember Agamemnon, that was a cool name. I remember Agamemnon being a cool name. What was Odysseus' son name again? It was what was it, Testicles? Like, now I know it wasn't no goddamn Testicles, but now it was Telemachus. That's what it is, Telemachus. Right? All these Clees, right? All these crazy Greek names, man. Nah, man. And then I remember about this, like the most recent thing I remember about the Odyssey, or like I read about in the Odyssey, was about the sirens in the sea, right? I remember Odysseus, I read that in I believe 48 Laws of Power, right? I forgot what law they tied to that, but there was a law in 48 Laws of Power where they talked about Odysseus tying himself to the mast while his rowers put wax in his ears, or put wax in their ears, because the song of the sirens would make them jump out of the water and basically kill themselves. They would drown, right? And I always thought the sirens were in the sea, but they were like on an island or whatever, singing. And then whoever heard it would just jump in, and then they would drown or whatever, you know. But there we go. But now, man, I don't remember none of that shit. Like when I read it, man, like it's crazy, yo. Like it's almost embarrassing to be honest with you, man. To have, I think I got an A. I think I got an A in that bitch somehow, you know. Because the funny thing is like when you in school, when you're in school, you're not really trying to like learn, you're trying to just get the A. You trying to do whatever you got to do to get the A, you know. And it's it's like getting the A is the objective of school, right? I mean, really, it's to me, school's messed up because school, they have to have a way to measure like your success, but basically, it's like from the student's perspective, we got to get the A. Like we can't like you got a lot of like no offense, but you got a lot of people that don't know shit that got A's because the whole focus was on just getting the A in school, you know. And that's how I was in high school, man. It was like I was trying to it was about getting the A first. Like I did whatever I had to do to get it. Like I didn't, the thing, right? I didn't cheat, you know. But the objective is you have to do whatever you can do to get an A, without cheating. And you know what? This concept also ties in with Odysseus, right? Because it's about, because at the end of the day, like what the whole book was about, or what the Odyssey is about, um, like a lot of people say, oh, it's about Odysseus's long voyage home after the war or whatever. That's a symptom, or that's a byproduct of the meaning. Man, really, the Odyssey is about a man coming to terms with his own bullshit. That's all it is. It's about a man coming to terms with his own bullshit, and can he face himself? Because even when he made it home, like he wasn't like home. You know what I'm saying? Like even when he was home, it was like he was hiding who he was. You know, um, and that's kind of like how it is with school, right? In school, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all about getting the A and getting the grades, but it's like a lot of people, like a lot of students, got to get the A by any means. And then, there's students that cheat. And then when they cheat in school, they got to live with themselves with that shit, which is why I didn't fuck with cheating, because I knew like if I cheated in school, I didn't want to look back and be on some shit where I'm like, damn, I feel guilty about cheating. But now I look back, I'm like, man, that shit don't even matter. That school was some bullshit, man. That shit ain't matter, yo. Like I don't remember. Like all I remember from school is going to class and being structured and doing what the teacher wanted me to do. That's all I remember. I don't remember like a lot of that shit, man, to be honest with you. Like I remember the discipline of school, but there's nothing that I learned from school where I'm like, man, I use it every day. Like, man, I use Pythagoras theorem every day. Yeah, I use green theorems. I use Green's theorem every day. Like if you gave me a Calc 2 exam right now, I probably fail that bitch. You know what I'm saying? But if I like jog my memory, I could probably remember how to do the shit. But I don't be thinking about that shit every day. You know what I mean? But anyways, but that's what I got from the movie, man. Like the movie is, or the book Odysseus is about a man coming to terms with his bullshit, right? Like he's coming to terms with his guilt. That's all the shit is about, right? Like he basically violated a law of the gods or he basically violated peace, right? Or he violated he basically violated trust and basically broke the law of peace, right? Basically when he's the one that, so like Odysseus came up with the idea to build the Trojan Horse as a symbol of peace, and then to hide it, and then to hide the men in there to then go in and unlock the wreak havoc or whatever, and then unlock the gates so the rest of the army could like fall in and win the war. That's all, like, you know what I'm saying? So then Odysseus he felt guilty about that shit, right? Like he felt guilty because he basically felt like he violated, you know, not just the law of Zeus, but he basically violated like peace. Like basically, if peace is the common trust that we have amongst each other, then I basically created chaos, you know? So now, so, you know, that to me is what it's about. Because like I said before, even when Odysseus came back home, like he didn't tell Telemachus who he was. He didn't like tell Penelope, his wife, who he was. Like he came in as a beggar with a hoodie on or whatever. And he was basically ashamed of what he basically was. To me, he was deflecting throughout the whole story, right? It's a story about him deflecting, you know, and that's why, you know, he was trying to save his men, because he felt like when he had the basically the moment when they came out of the Trojan Horse and he saw how savage his men were, he was like, yo, my men ain't really different from these other men, you know? Like they were in there raping and pillaging. Sorry, I can't say that word. Graping and pillaging. When he saw what his men really were, he felt like guilty about that shit. So basically he was trying to atone for his actions by trying to correct his men and trying to save his men. But his men really weren't worth saving at the end of the day, you know? At the end of the day, you got to do like the Apostle Peter said, man, and just save yourself. Right? Just save yourself, man. But here's my thing, man. I didn't realize how dumb these niggas were though, yo. Like the soldiers, like Odysseus' men, man, they were dumb as shit, man. Like that shit should have been a comedy, man. Just how dumb them niggas were, yo. Like that shit, them niggas was stupid, man. Like they were like, I mean, you gotta think it is 3,000 years ago, but man, like how them niggas is dumb, yo. Like when they went into Cyclops' cave, right? First off, they went when they were coming back from war, and they were in them boats or whatever, and they were trying to stop by each land. Or when they made their different stops, man. The first stop they made, these niggas went into a cave with a fire that was still going, right? So one, that should have let you know that somebody was home or somebody was nearby, number one. Then two, like you saw like packages of meat like that were like on the wall just all around the cave, and they were like high up. It's like, how the fuck do you think all this meat got that high up on the fucking wall, and it's just there for you to eat? And they sitting there eating it like, oh man, this is good, some good meat. And they just sitting there chilling, just waiting on the fucking destruction to come, man. Man, look, I'm not trying to be mean, but them niggas deserve to get eaten up, yo. Like whoever got ate by Cyclops, man, deserved that shit, yo. That's just some dumbass shit. Like when you go into a dwelling that's not yours, you got to look for signs of life, nigga. Like you got to look for signs of life, man. You know what I'm saying? Even if the fire was out, nigga, touch the rocks, nigga, touch the wood. If it's hot, that means that the motherfucker just left. You know what I'm saying? Just being stupid. I was talking to someone about the joint, and they were saying how they didn't get how or why Cyclops was eating some of the men, because if you notice, Cyclops wasn't eating all of his sheep. Like he would let the flock of sheep out to go graze, and then come back in, and then he would like I guess pluck, you know whatever sheep he wanted to cook to eat or whatever. But it was like they would come and go. but then Cyclops made it a point to eat some of the men. You know, I'm like, I don't give a fuck, man. If you go into a dwelling that's not yours, and you don't look for signs of life, yo, you deserve whatever's coming to you. Like when you watch those like those mystery shows or like those suspense TV shows, the first thing, like when the camera switches to like the coffee cup, if it's hot, like if it still got like steam coming out the cup, or if you see a cigarette in an ashtray and the smoke is still coming up, that means that the person is not that far away. Either they just left or they on their way back. Either way, you don't want to be there. All right, so I'm trying to figure out how these niggas like survived a war, yo. Like, how do you fight a war and win being that goddamn stupid? Like, they had no common sense, man. Like them dudes, like them dudes was dumber than the fucking sheep. Like man, fuck out of here, man. Man, they got poor them dudes have poor situational awareness, yo. If anything, like I was like, I had to make sure that my situational awareness is on tap, man, because I want to make sure I'm not missing nothing, yo. Like look, 3,000 years from now, I don't want to look back on me. I mean, I'm probably not going to, because no one's looked back 3,000 years on themselves, right? But man, that shit was like, man, I'd be embarrassed, yo. If I was part of that crew, I'd be embarrassed to even be a part of that, to even be a part of them niggas, yo. To be that fucking stupid. Yeah, man. And then they ran off and they finally got away from Cyclops, and then Odysseus had to shoot him in the eye again. Like like if he just got out the cave and left, you know what I'm saying? If they just escaped, then Poseidon, the god of the sea, wouldn't have probably like fuck with him like that. But he had to shoot him in the eye, and then Poseidon found out about it, and then made his ride home, or made his journey home, even worse. Then they ended up on this land, and then they were there, and it's just, man, the shit just poor situational awareness, yo. Like if they didn't learn from the Cyclops shit, then it's like the next shit with the giants, man. That like when they went on to the next land that they got to, and they saw that little girl with the armor on by herself in the forest. First off, it's like, yeah, you want to always you always want to like be mindful and look out for the children and shit. But that shit was odd, man. Just this little girl with like a helmet on in the middle of a forest, and they trying to see like, hey, what's going on? Like, yeah, it's okay to ask and to figure out what's going on. But when she started screaming, they should have just went back to the boat, yo. Head back to, I mean, if you see a nigga with one eye, if you see a giant with one eye in a cave, if you saw that and got away from that, and then you go to the next land, and then you see this little girl out there, like if you see like a little girl by herself in like a armor, or in like a metal helmet, and if she starts screaming, nigga, if you saw some bullshit already, man, you should have known, nigga. Just head for the boats, man. Head back to the boats, man. But they're trying to figure out why she's screaming, and hey, everything is okay, and hey, come back. And when them giants came out, man, they slaughtered the niggas, man. Yeah, I'm like, man, you dummies. Oh man, that shit was crazy. Just being dumb, man. It's like, how many warning signs do you need? And then here's the thing. Here's the part where I'm like, this is the part that tripped me out, man. That scene with Circe, the witch, man. Oh my god, man. When they got to the next land, right? They was beefing with Odysseus and shit, because like Odysseus like knew. Well, they were beefing like, with Odysseus because he knew certain shit. Like basically, they were like, look, you're no longer in charge. We gonna go ahead and we gonna lead ourselves. And they ended up on this island or this land or whatever. And nigga, when they walked past the tiger that just looked at them, they had a tiger that was just chilling, then there was a lion, then they walked past a puma, and then a jaguar, and they were just chilling. It's like, yo. And you know what's funny? When they walked past them, they didn't even like turn their back to see if they were gonna like if those wild cats were gonna come after them, right? Like they didn't even like. To me, it's like, look, if you already on the island, yo, if you see like if you're like in that type of like wildlife and you need something to eat, yo, you might want to shoot one of them cats. Because if they shot one of the cats or the if they shot one of them cats, they would have seen that the cat healed back into a human. And when they saw that, they would have been like, "Yo, what the fuck? This land is weird. We got to go back. Like this shit don't make no sense." But man, they went up to Circe house, and man, even Circe, the bitch was weird. Like she just was like they went into the house, and like I said, man, poor situational awareness. Pots cooking, food, all this food made, no one in the house, and they thinking that oh shit, like let's just chill and let's just hang out here, And then finally, when they ran into Circe, her reaction was just hilarious, man. She started screaming and shit, and she got him with that surrender tactic. That's what she got him with, like one of the 48 laws of power. Like she got him with that surrender tactic where she was screaming and then she was like, "Don't hurt me, don't hurt me." And she was crazy as shit. And then after, they were like, "Oh no, we're not here to hurt you. We're here to get some food. We're just hungry. Like, we've been at sea and we're just humming. We're just trying to, get some food or whatever." And nigga, when she had all that food and when they asked, "Yo, who'd you make this food for?" And she said, "Nobody." Nigga, that's your red flag, man, to get the fuck out, man. Like that shit, man. Like that scene was so trippy, man. Like I'm like, yo, I'm not eating at nobody house like that, yo. Like I see why. Like when I was young, like there were like people that I knew that just wouldn't eat at other people's houses, you know. Like they wouldn't eat at other people's houses and shit. Like every time you ask them, they come over, they be like, "Hey man, you want something to eat?" They just do this. "Hey man, you want something to eat?" "No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm full. No, I'm good." Right? And it was like weird. It's like I wonder if those people read the Odyssey and knew about Circe, and that's why they didn't want to eat at nobody's house, Man, cause right now, man, I'm like real like that scene made me be real cautious about who house I eat at, man. And then when somebody make food in their house, man, you make sure they eat their own shit too. That's something I learned, man. Make sure like you make if someone offer you food and you gonna eat at their house, you make sure that they eat and you watch them take the first bite and make sure you watch and you make sure you watch them swallow their shit. Right? Even if you got to, man, swap bowls and shit. So that way if they on some bullshit, they gotta eat their shit. Just dumb, yo. But that scene was trippy, man. They up there eating and like they couldn't stop eating it. You could tell they were trying to stop eating, but they couldn't stop eating. And then they're just like putting food in their mouth and they're just like trying to stop. And then Circe is sitting here just watching them. And then she would get up and then she molded their fucking face into pigs. Oh man, that scene was trippy, man. That shit was like, um, it was disturbing. It wasn't like gory, but it was disturbing enough to make me be like, you know what? Let me be careful who house I eat at. But nah, that was the shit, right? The shit that would have made me like, first off, when I saw them tigers and lions and shit sitting there, first off, I'm like, yeah, nigga, it's a tiger, nigga. We can't be on this. If they got tigers on this land, the fuck? We see all these cats on this land, yo. Nah. I would have turned back then. But to me, the scene that I started laughing at, where I was like, yo, to me, we should have turned the fuck around, is when Cersei was like, yeah, y'all can eat, but leave your armor in the back. And when they took their armor off, you saw the armor of other soldiers in the back just laying there. And these niggas took their shit off, and they were literally taking their shit off, putting their armor on top of other people's armor that used to be there before, you know? Like you literally heard them go click clink, click clink, click clink. I'd have been like, nigga. I'd have been like, whoa. Who? I'd have been like, yo, who armor is this? Because whoever it is, are they coming back? Like, people just don't leave their armor. Like, what happened? You know? So yeah, nah, man. That Circe scene was real trippy because I may have like remember hearing about that in class. Like, you know how we did like in high school, man. Like, you read and then you discuss like what you read on and whatever. And at the time when you in school, you gotta think you taking like 8 classes and shit, and you like, yo, I gotta worry about prepping for SATs, and I gotta worry about basketball practice and making the team. I gotta like you got too much shit to worry about. So they probably talked about it in class, but I forgot about it, you know. But now, man, um, with me knowing what I know now, man, or just how I am, I would have definitely survived the Odyssey, man. I would have been like, man, y'all niggas on your own, yo. I'm not, man. Now fuck that. I'm not traveling with these dummies, man. No, I would have went and made me like a little raft, and I would have been like, hey, peace. I would have made my own little raft and just rode myself the fuck home, yo. Um, yeah, nah, mm-mm. Nah, I would have, like when I saw, like, when you see people doing dumb stuff, man, like that's one thing about me, right? When I see people doing dumb shit, I don't stick around, man, because when you try to like preach common sense to people, they gonna take offense to that, or they're not gonna know what you even talking about, you know. And then if me trying to talk common sense into somebody is gonna put me at risk, nigga, I'm out, yo. I'm not sitting around waiting, yo. I ain't got time for that dumb shit, man. Um, but nah, man. But yeah, I just still can't get over, man, how man, that scene, that Circe scene, man, when she turned them into pigs, man, that shit was so disturbing, man. But it's like it was their fault though, you know. Um, Here's the thing, man. Um, I feel like Odysseus. I feel like a lot of his suffering was his own damn fault, man. You know, because really at the end of the day, what to me, like what the story is about is at the end of the day, you gotta make a choice. Are you gonna be on some corrupt shit, or are you gonna try to be someone of moral upstanding? Or are you gonna try to be someone that is of moral value, if that makes sense. Right? That to me is like what the shit is about, yo. And it's like if Odysseus, like with the Trojan horse shit, like at the end of the day, he did what he felt like he had to do to try to win the war, right? He did it. But once he saw that his men were that corrupt, he should have just split, yo. Right? He should have just dipped out, man. Like once you see what your men really are, you know? Um, because at the end of the day, you gotta make a choice, right? Like when it comes to like school, you know what I'm saying? Like you got people that at the end of the day, people are trying to just survive, you know? And if you do something and you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have did that. That was fucked up. You know, I should have really probably like made a different choice or whatever, you know. Um, my bad. I'll do better next time, right? And just own it and then move on. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing, right? Here's where I'm not sure how they talk to their gods or pray to their gods or whatever. Which is against the scripture, by the way. You're not supposed to have more than one God, right? They have all these different gods. But I mean, hypothetically speaking, like Odysseus could have got him with the what's that word or that term? Where you like willfully sin. Like if he had the idea for the Trojan horse, and if a god or his god or whoever came to him and said, look, man, don't do that shit. Like, that's against whatever. Then if he still did it, then he deserved everything he got after that. You know what I'm saying? If they warned him about, hey, look, if you do this shit, you know, this is what's gonna happen. And if he still did it, then that's on him. But the fact that he ain't know and he's trying to just survive, he could have been like, look, man, I'm just trying to survive this war. I did what I thought I could do, right? All is fair in war, you know, my bad. And if he did that, he could have basically like challenged the gods at that point. You know what I'm saying? But the moment he saw who his men were when they came out the Trojan Horse, he should have just been like, yo, I fucked up. It is what it is, you know, and just flee. But he messed up by trying to save his men, right? And it's like he should have just tried to focus on saving himself. Yeah. So a lot of Odysseus is like, a lot of his suffering was his own damn fault, man. You know? But like I think he was trying to save his men because he wanted to. Here's what I think. I think he was trying to save his men because he was trying to atone for what he did with the idea of coming up with the Trojan horse. You know, that's what I think it was about. He was trying to be like, look, I can change my men and I can, you know, like I can I think he was trying to atone for that. That's what I think, because that guilt was hitting him so hard. He felt like, look, if I can make my men see the errors in our ways and what I did, then maybe, you know, the gods will have mercy on us, you know? But nah. He should have just once he realized what he did, he should have just fled and tried to save himself. Right? Because at the end of the day, his men like made the choice they were gonna make anyway. And they died anyway, right? So it's like all that was in vain. What else, man? But yeah, so when he returned home, I think I said it before. I'm not sure if I said it or not, but like when he returned, like to me, returning home was both a figurative and a literal. I think he was trying to return home in the figurative and literal sense, right? Meaning that physically he wanted to return home to his wife and Telemachus, but also he wanted to be able to face himself. You know what I'm saying? Which is why he lied about, in my opinion, that's why he lied about or he disguised that's why he disguised his appearance. Because I think even in that moment he was trying to make his return home meaningful to himself, right? I think he was ashamed. Like, end of the day, I think he was ashamed, right? He was ashamed that he went out there and won this war at all costs, but it costed him years and it costed him like his moral compass. You know what I mean? So I think so yeah, I mean getting home was like the point, but it was more of he had to like face himself, you know. So yeah, so that's kind of like the way I took. That's the way, at least that's my interpretation of it. You know, it's like he had to be able to face himself in the end. And even when he made it back home, and when he strung up that bow, like that was pretty dope. How they did the whole bow scene or whatever, where he had to go and string up his own bow. But even when he was made it back home, he was like, you know, the best option for them or for him and Penelope was it Penelope, I think? So I'm getting the names all mixed up. But him and his wife, he's like the best option was for him and his wife to just basically flee or to go into exile somewhere else or to live somewhere else and let Telemachus um run Ithaca. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I think there was some part of him that felt like he didn't deserve to live on the land that he helped win the war for, you know? Um, so I think it took me so long to understand the Odyssey, man. I think I think it took me a while to understand this joint because number one, it was like I was in school and I had a lot going on. Like I said, I told you earlier, like I had a lot going. Like we all have a lot going on, you know. Like I was trying to make the basketball team, make it to the NBA. Shit, I was trying to figure out life. I was trying to balance out coursework and schoolwork. I said course and schoolwork like they're different things, but um, when you have that much information that you have to consume, it's like you're not gonna consume it. It's like you're gonna try to just jump through the hoop, you know, so you can get the grade. You know, if I would have tried to have understood it more back then, would it have helped my life out more now? Maybe, but hey, things take however it takes however long it takes to understand whatever it takes to understand. You know, it takes however long it takes. You know, some people may have gotten that shit in the first pass of reading it. But the funny thing is, some people may have gotten it and might not have even applied that shit. Right? Like school is funny, man. Like you can understand a lot of shit, or you can know a lot about a lot of shit, but then not apply it. Right? So to me, it's like, you know, that's the whole term in what do you call it in the black Twitter spaces, you know, it's a new term they got. It's called being a smart dumb nigga, you know, where you know a lot about shit, but you don't apply it to nothing. Or you appear like you know a lot of shit, but you know, either you don't apply what you know to everyday life, or you sound smart to just stall other meaningful conversations to just take up time, you know? So nah, it took me like it's crazy, man. And even when you watch reviews of the Odyssey, a lot of people just say, "Oh, it's about Odysseus getting back home. That's what it's about." I'm like, okay. I mean, I think that's like most of what it's about, but I think it's like more meaningful than that. It's about a man coming to terms with his bullshit, like I said earlier. You know, it's about a man coming to terms with his guilt and like processing his guilt. That's what that shit is about. And really, you know, no disrespect to the Greek gods, but those gods weren't shit because it's like um it's like they made rules, but there was no understanding, right? It was just, hey, I'm a god of this, do this. But really, at the end of the day, there was like no understanding, right? It was just basically, hey man, do what I say because I'm a god, and if you don't, feel my wrath, right? Like I would hate to serve a god like that, man. You know, it's all about understanding. At the end of the day, you want to understand the shit. Like you want to understand as much as you can, as much as the god does. You know, well, yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. That's a whole nother hour plus discussion, and I'm not doing that. But nah, I think it took me a while to get what the Odyssey was about. Because like I said, there was a lot going on. I was growing up trying to understand life. You know, I'm chasing girls in high school, trying to make the basketball team, trying to make it to the NBA. I'm trying to like catch my favorite TV shows because back in my day there was no streaming platform, no streaming media. So I had all these distractions, man, you know, and all these pressures. I was trying to get into college, you know, I was trying to study for the SATs so I could get into school. Um, what else, man? And then when you read the book, you hear about Cyclops and all the other shit. It's like cool shit to like read about, but it's almost like the story itself is a distraction because you're like Cyclops, giants, witches. Oh wow, but it's like, what is the common thing? Like, what's the thing that what's the message that they're trying to get across? You know. So, long story short, it took me so long to understand. What took me so long to understand the Odyssey, man, was probably just distractions, man. You know. So once again, man, shout out to Christopher Nolan, man. I think it's a masterpiece. I'm not gonna rank the movie like in my top 10 or whatever of all time, because I mean, you got to see how the movie stands the test of time. But it did make a lot of shit clear for me, right? And there's probably more works and more books and more readings that I need to have made clear to me. So anyways, who's this here? Busted Combine. Here we go. Yeah, but like I said, man, if you haven't seen the Odyssey, man, go check it out. If you haven't read it, go back and reread it. I'll probably reread it at some point. But yeah, so like I said, if it weren't for the movie that came out, I would have just probably have remembered the Odyssey being about the Trojan Horse, and that was it. Right? But yeah, anyways, that's all I got, man. So let me go ahead and I'm getting better at this. I gotta probably get a soundboard or something for this. But yeah, man. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so make sure you follow me. Boom. Thank y'all for tuning in for this episode of Tripping with Theo Bold. Yeah, so like I said, if you haven't seen the Odyssey, man, go check it out, man. It's definitely entertaining. It's definitely eye-opening. But without further ado, I'm out of here, folks. Peace.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Tripping.